على سيدنا محمد الصادق الأمين المبعوث رحمة للعالمين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما وفقهنا إذا علمتنا. اللهم انفعنا وارفعنا بالقرآن العظيم. اللهم اجعله لنا نورا وإماما وهدى ورحمة. اللهم ألهمنا رشدنا وأعذنا من شرور أنفسنا. We spoke yesterday about that ayah لتسكنوا إليها وجعل بينكم مودة ورحمة. Apparently some boys, they misunderstood the meaning of Sakina and they want to bring a woman called Sakina to every house, to create some problem for me and for them, So and this is going to make it more chaotic for you at home. Okay, so just be careful about it. Okay. Any question about this ayah, that you mentioned yesterday? Be honest with me. Who did go back and read it carefully and try to understand it better? Here we have one. Okay. Here we have none. Okay. Yes? You read it? Okay. Thank you. Okay. Those who read it or who try to read it, have they found anything new that we missed to mention, or have they found anything interesting or to share with us, any of their feelings? Yeah. Yeah, this is a very important point, I think, Here you have something spiritual, is going to give no meaning to this type of relation. As we mentioned many times, it's not a matter of having this contract or this relationship or whatever. Here you have something, combination of physical and non-physical or spiritual things going to work together to have this relation upgraded, and be as much better than even we expect, sometimes. Okay. That's why the happiest people in this regard, those who fully understand the meaning of that, and try to work according to that, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke in this ayah about the human nature in that regard, and if we go according to it, for sure it's going to have a significant effect on us. I figure out that we go and try to show other descriptions which has been mentioned in some ayat or ahadith, and perhaps majority of them came through my mind. They are in regard of the female side, the description of the expected wife that you should have. Are you ready to hear this, from both sides?
I think it's the balance between having the rights of the women fulfilled their aesthetic side, that they like to have, they appreciate beauty more than we do sometimes. There's a bit more values in them. And the quiet taste sometimes they cost a bit, and true beauty doesn't really cost that much. And the pressure that a man's put under, he's given the role as our mirror. And one of the most important things is that the woman is willing at the outset to conquer an ass by being a leader to the husband, if he's following the deed strictly and not to question too much about it, because of his responsibility to her to provide. It's very difficult. And that's where it's, very, very much so.
Okay. Anyone wants to comment about this? No comments? Yes?
I was thinking about the
Mm.
This is like, it's like a dynamic, isn't it? About something that's happening between people. I mean, if you don't have faith in this ayah, then it changes everything again, doesn't it?
For sure, yeah, this just to tie the relation, make it more stronger. Yeah, no doubt about it. Yes.
And what I was thinking is, when we were talking giving rights to people,
Mm.
when we were talking about giving people rights, through the day we were saying what do you need in a relationship to make it work. We were saying about giving people their rights. It doesn't talk about rights here, it talks about mercy and love.
That's right. Yeah. And that's what we mentioned, about this contract. For sure there is a right and duties, but this is not going to work if we don't have this extra love or mercy or sakina or whatever of that regard. And this is what I was about to write down, this ayah, or part of ayah, وَلَهُنَّ مِثْلُ الَّذِي عَلَيْهِنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. لهن, what does it mean? Rights. Okay? لهن means rights. عليهن means duties. Okay. This is in Surah Al-Baqarah. Surah Al-Baqarah is number 2. Ayah number, I think it's 228, 20, yes, 28, 228 of Surah Al-Baqarah. 228. Now you see how great is this, This was mentioned in Quran in these days when almost none of the human, they used to give the rights for women at that time. And here the Quran go thoroughly about it. They have rights, same as the duties they have. And this by itself tells you about what? Equality. They are equal with males, in their rights and duties. But here, rights and duties, which means sort of like a law or a court or whatever. That's why it ended by this word what? Bil-ma'roof. Bil-ma'roof. This go by what again? By the same meaning that we mentioned before. عرف بعضه وأعرض عن بعض. Bil-ma'roof. In good way, in good manner. I'm not here as a policeman to get my rights from the other side, or to force the other side to fulfill their duties. Okay, it's bil-ma'roof, in such a good way, or accepted way, or according to the tradition. When we say according to tradition, what tradition? Tradition of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This what has been the ma'roof among us, tradition of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and you know how perfect was he, how kind, how nice was he with his family, in that regard, That's why, this ayah tells about equation, tells about rights and duties, and put on the top of that the meaning of al-ma'roof, by a good, nice way, kind way, okay? Not, as we illustrated at the beginning of these relations, let's say this is a duty on someone, and he's going to have to fulfill his duty, but with frowning and shouting and screaming. Is this good way? For sure not. I may tolerate this person, if I want to get some benefit from him, for a while or whatever. But if he's going to behave as such with me every day, no way that I can tolerate him, or accept that from him. Okay, that's why this word, bil ma'ruf, really give a certain meaning for the whole issue, here, that in many occasions we fail to understand it well. I knew about, to tell you this story, from my experience. In one wedding setting, I was asked to have a speech, or a word, and I highlighted what I mentioned at the beginning of the relation between wife and husband, about that we shouldn't be that like a detective, going behind every point, and trying to make it watched by the other one, and telling him that you have this problem this day and whatever, and I'm trying to just make it as بالمعروف, as we mentioned here, ولا تنسوا الفضل بينكم أروة. And after that, another person was called to have a speech, and he returned back to speak about what? The duties and rights, Many of us, they try to forget this, They just feel the marriage as duty and rights, They don't have this touch above it, which make it a unique relation, among ourselves, And I'm telling you, whenever we say that right and duties, this out of our nafs, we are going to see the rights that we have on the other one. Tremendous rights, great rights, a lot of rights, and our duties toward them as very minimal and minor. This is the way usually we feel about it. This is the nafs that we have. That's why we yesterday it was mentioned that وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً. When you have love and you have mercy, these things is going to change completely. You are not going to have the same view or the same look toward this matter. We are talking about finding suitable spouse. Yet in the real world, it's very difficult to find a partner. You think of any ways in which we can use the opportunities at such gathering to address and maybe contribute to resolve this issue? And if so, could you initiate this, please? What do you think about this? Myself to initiate it, or who to initiate it? I think if we are going to wait till have the other one, initiate it toward us, no one is going to initiate it. Okay, we should initiate it ourselves. If you are fully convinced with this, you should yourself initiate this. Even if you are not married, to try to practice this with others, because many of these meanings is not only for the spouses, this for relation in general. That's why you should initiate it yourself, And by this, you feel that you are dealing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You don't care about the others. How do they look at this matter, or how they are going to understand this matter. Why? Because as a Muslim, you are dealing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in that regard. And that's why you should initiate it yourself without expecting any result from the other side, okay? Whenever you have expectation, you are going to feel bad really, okay? And this is one of my philosophy in this life. Whenever you want to be happy about anything, I don't know if you agree with me or not. Whenever you want to be happy about anything, make your expectation low. Don't make them up. Okay, why? Because when you have high expectation about something, whatever they are going to do, you are not going to be satisfied. When you lower your standards, put them down, whatever they are going to do, you are going to feel that this is great to have this beyond my expectation. Okay? Is this point clear? Is it possible to be practiced or difficult, You should have high expectation all the time. I think it works, and this makes you happy, Perhaps this was derived from the hadith from the Prophet ﷺ. What did he say, sallallahu alaihi wasallam? When you look at people, look at those who are less than you in wealth. Why? By this way you are going to be pleased and satisfied with whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you. انظروا إلى من هو أسفل منكم أو دونكم فإن ذلك أجدر ألا تزدروا نعمة الله عليكم. Why? Here in this matter, when you look at these people, for sure your expectations are going to be down. And by this you are going to feel grateful toward Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and what He has granted you with. And this again, I think it works in this regard, Always you should have low expectation. Okay? Whenever you feel high expectation about the others, meaning that you want to get your rights from them, you are going to feel unhappy eventually. Okay. Yes?
Do you think that that's maybe part of the problem about the media in that setting expectations for people?
That's right. Yeah. It plays a major role, no doubt about it. Yes, we are right. Yeah. The media has a significant role in that. That usually they upgrade the expectation up, which eventually, you are going to find it inaccurate. Besides the fantasizing about it, right? All of us is going to fantasize, and think high about marriage in that matter, Why? Because it's only going to think about the happy part of it, He doesn't look at the reality of it. That I'm going to live with a human being similar to me, has his own certain deficiency and whatever, So this again is going to shock you whenever you start living because of these matters. Let's be honest with ourselves. Yes?
How forcefully can you insist on your rights to a person? For example, if you're not fulfilling your responsibilities, are you still allowed to insist on your rights, or does it have to be a certain amount of giving from your part
I don't see how here. Why? Because we said bil-ma'ruf. We said عرف بعضه وأعرض عنه. It's not a matter of counting my rights and my duties. Okay? It's a matter to show the best of myself according to my strengths and ability, and in an indirect way to ask the others, not to ask them directly, to have the same attitude. Okay. One of the major things of making happy life, which I figured it recently, it may be right or wrong, I'll put it in front of you. When the Prophet ﷺ said, تزوجوا الودود الولود. Wadud, we got it from the ayah mawadda, love, right? The one who show exaggeration of love. It's needed here, okay? Walud, what does it mean? What's the meaning of walud? Bring children, a lot of children. How can we know? Nowadays it's difficult to know, but in the old days, usually it was the tradition, to get married more than one time, males and females. And by this way, you may know it by what happened to her in her previous marriage or whatever. But what I want to highlight here, nowadays, majority of us, almost all of us, listen from the beginning, we don't want a lot of children, okay, please, only one. Or even at the beginning, no children, okay? Let's fantasize for 5 years, and after that we are going to start children, okay? Here the Prophet ﷺ telling us about something strengthen the relation between the two spouses, okay? What is it? The children. And for sure it has a lot of meaning that we may not even understand, okay? And there's something emotional, spiritual about it, when the species and the chromosomes is going to mix together, whatever. For sure, it's going to have some effect on us, in one way or another. Unfortunately, we use it in the opposite way. What do I mean by this? Whenever we feel not good about each other, and we are about to have divorce, and here is a child, we start to think about what? Abortion. See? And you want to kill the thing that strengthens our relation, rather than make it work for us. You see? That's what I understood from this hadith. I may be wrong, but that's what I feel. Children have significant role in making strengthening the relation between the spouses. Same as it, breastfeeding is going to strengthen the relation between the mother and the child. For a while, I don't know nowadays what's the current situation, but for a while, almost no woman is going to breastfeed her child. Why? Because of the beauty, because of the health, because this and that, right? We came through this a few years ago, I don't know what's the trend now or what's but a few years ago, this was the trend, that it's not advisable for any woman to breastfeed her child, for her beauty, for other factors, what's going to make? It's going to weaken the relation between the mother and her child. And here is the thing. We don't want children, okay? We want to be modernized, only 1 or 2 child for good outcome and for good and acceptable way of living or whatever. I feel that this may affect the relation between the spouses by one way or another. In another way, I'm trying to pick up the description which was given to the male or the female in ayat and ahadith, and try to emphasize them, to make them, to get from them how we should translate this meaning to strengthen our relation and make our house as a happy home, or happy family in that area. Is this point clear about children? Okay. Move to another description. Which one? Walud? The Walud, تزوجوا, this is as a guidance. The Prophet ﷺ is guiding us. If you want to get married to a woman who is wadud. The other one fertile. But this wadud means lovers, okay? And fertile. How do you know she's fertile? Wadud. Huh? You may tell, it's not difficult. Or the minimum of it, to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Oh Allah, grant me with wadud. That's it. And after a few years, we'll have 12 of the children. Now we are going to go to some description of the woman also, which should be our aim all the time. Why? Because this was mentioned about the wives of the Prophet ﷺ. Okay? That's why we are in real need of that. What are these? These are in Surah Al-Tahrim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned Muslimat, Mu'minat, Qanitat, Ta'ibat, Abidat, Sa'ihat. Whenever we have, just imagine, the Prophet ﷺ is the most perfect person. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describing what the expected description of his wives should be. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants in the description of the wives of the Prophet ﷺ. What's about ourselves? If the Prophet ﷺ is perfect and apparently not in that need for this description, we are in real need of that. Myself as a person, I cannot have it work done well for me without these descriptions. That's why we should aim at these descriptions and make them one of our priorities. Translation of them, Muslimat, Muslim, right? Mu'min believer, this step higher. Qanit, what's the meaning of qanit? But give out. Pious? No, not exactly. No, qanit. Obedient, or the one who put it down to others. Okay? Obedient is good, good. Obedient or put it down. And it's needed here. Yes. Why? Because we mentioned before that rights and duties not to be gotten, strongly and from upper. No, you should put it down sometimes. Okay? You should qanit. See? Obedient. But you should emphasize it more. Okay. Repentant, ta'ib, abid, worshipper, sa'ih. What's the meaning of sa'ih? Tourist? No, not tourist. What's the meaning of sa'ih? Penitent? Penitent. That's what's written here? What's the meaning of penitent? I don't know. You don't know either? What's the meaning of sa'ihat? You are fast. Yes. This was explained by the Prophet ﷺ. Those who fast. To tell you the truth, I haven't thought about it a lot, We should go back.